Right folks, we're at LR Workshop. This is my Rest of the World Spec Defender, and it has not been at my premises for the last 7 years. It's been sat here, and today it's getting moved to my new house. I'm using the service AnyVan, which I found online, and some of you may have heard of. I'll talk more about them at the end of the video about the details. But essentially, I've got to prepare this because the guy's arriving in about an hour. I've got to prepare this vehicle, make sure it's not roadworthy, which is why I'm getting it transported. But I just need to put some bit more fuel in it, new battery, pump up the tyres, get all these moisture packs out of it, get the stuff out of the back so it doesn't bounce and rattle around. So yeah, quite a bit to do, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully there's no hiccups. I'm hoping to get a full house today because I've owned this is the third Defender that I've purchased in my time. I've currently got two. The first Defender ended up on a flatbed truck when it overheated on the motorway. The second one ended up on a flatbed truck when the wheel bearing disintegrated on the motorway. This one's going to be the third. Would have had all three of my Defenders that I've ever owned would have been on a breakdown truck at some point. I was in that. Yeah, maybe I should buy a lottery ticket. I've never bothered replacing the battery in this before, but today I thought it was worth it. As you see in my other videos, I've been jump starting the battery previously. And many of you said, why don't you just get a bloody battery? Well, I've gone and done it. I've gone and bought another Varta. Yes, I bit the bullet. I did wonder about getting a US battery, but actually this Varta is a hell of a lot cheaper. And for the last year, based on the other video I did, it's been faultless. It's never had any power loss, so I thought I'd buy another one. Stick in here. Let's check the fluids. Tiny bit low, but alright. It's a little bit down there actually. I put fuel in every now and then, but don't want any starting problems. So I'll give it a bit of fresh stuff. And I found out if you leave your fuel cap in the same position, the one with the fuel cord, for a long time, then it will perish through and ultimately, well, it's not totally split, but it's on the way. Also a load of stuff in the back, which is, I don't want this rattling around because you've got, on a breakdown truck, you've got the two springs of the vehicle in the truck, so this is going to bounce around more. So I'm going to cut this separately. Right, we're going to go for first start. That's a good sign. Give it a bit extra. That is it prepared. So the Defender's packed on, and I've just been sent the link from AnyVan, and I can open the map and see where the driver is on the journey. It's got the pin to start and the pin to leave, the destination, and where he is on the journey. So I've got to get to the destination now to help unload the vehicle. And yeah, loading was pretty seamless. He turned up, parked outside. He's got a trailer that's being towed by his van. Yeah, I drove it onto the trailer and he strapped it up. So really useful having low range in a Defender. Okay, anyway, I got to get on the road, and I assume at some point I'm going to be overtaking him, or at least I hope so.
To the left. Yeah, good. Right there.
That'll do. So my Defender's here at my house. First time this Defender's been at the property I live at in a very long time. Now I can start to work on it. That's really been the main reason, is now that I could have tried to work on it where it was, get it roadworthy to then drive it here, but I thought it made sense just to transport it, and then I can work on it. I need to replace all the brake discs and calipers, hub rebuilds all round. Other than that, it's fine. I think I just need to replace fluids and things. Get back on the road. I thought I'd talk a bit more about choosing AnyVan. I have no connection whatsoever. I'm just using them as a punter because I wanted a service. I found them online. So I just thought I'd talk about the process, because I know other people might be interested in transporting a car, transporting a Defender. So I'll just talk a bit about my thought process and what the process was that I went through and kind of the experience I had. It seems to be, if you're going to use, unless you're going to use like a local or, you know, an independent transport or logistics service, the two choices seem to be, at least in the UK, between AnyVan and Shipley. I would describe AnyVan as probably Uber, but with branding. If you can imagine Uber with branding. Whereas Shipley is probably more like a service like Rated People or Fiverr or something like that. So the difference in the way I can explain it is, with Shipley you put up what you post what you want to the service you want, and then independent people through the site will quote basically for that. Whereas with AnyVan, they provide a consistent kind of, you book through their site, and the price is the price, and they kind of have their list of contractors that they have, but they are branded, so I would assume they're employees, that they will then get to fulfill that job after it's been booked. It also turned out that AnyVan was a lot cheaper than Shipley. So AnyVan, I booked it on the Tuesday for the Saturday. The price was about £2.11 per mile, and I added on about insurance for about 40 quid, which was insurance that cost 40 quid for insuring the vehicle for 10,000. That's basically comprehensive. It basically insures, I think, if they have a crash, then that's the insurance for that. That doesn't come as part of it. With Shipley, the prices were coming out over double in terms of cost per mile, and whereas I'd booked AnyVan, with Shipley you've got to wait for the quotes to kind of roll in. They would roll in over 36 hours. With AnyVan, I just booked it online. The price was the price. The price tended to go up, you know, every day as you got closer. So from that perspective, AnyVan, it was the booking process. The booking process was easier. Another thing with AnyVan is they say that you can cancel any time up until 48 hours. What I think that means is they don't actually book in the job until 48 hours before. And lo and behold, 48 hours before, I got a phone call from their kind of operations centre, and they asked me some more questions about the vehicle. Was it modified? I said it's got a roll cage. They asked what the weight was, so, you know, presumably that's why it ended up coming on a trailer instead of on the back of his breakdown van. So I got that phone call, confirmed that. They also wanted a photo of the vehicle. I sent them a photo of that. And then the next day you get an email saying, this is your driver and here's his phone number, but please don't call unless it's urgent. So you got allocated a driver like the day before. There is an extra service. You can pay like 20 or 30 extra quid to book in a specific slot for the day. I didn't do that because I was like, oh, let's try and keep the cost down. I already paid more for the insurance from the original quote. So the time slot was 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you paid for a time slot, you'd get like 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I was assuming that I'd get, like with normally happens with deliveries, they say it can be delivered any time between this time, but then on the day we'll give you a more specific time slot. I was assuming that was going to happen. So this morning I got a call from the driver about 8 a.m. to say this is when I'm going to arrive, and it was in the morning. Luckily, it was his only job that day, so I think why not get it done and out of the way. And then when he leaves, he sets up tracking on phone, so you can see on a map. You get emailed a link, so you can see the driver on his way to your location, to the collection point. And then he turned up, and he gave us a call about a mile before. So you're on the phone, like talking him through. Okay, here it is. I'm out on the road waving. You need to reverse a bit. Loaded the vehicle up. We had to block the road for probably about 5 minutes. And then he sets off, and you get another tracking link sent to you, or you can go in the same link, and it's got the map, so you can see basically where he is. It updates about every 20 seconds, I think. You can see where he is. So I set off afterwards and I wanted to film zooming past. So that was good for me to know when I was going to expect him, because I could see on my phone on the map where he was specifically. Then we arrived. I got here before him. Another phone call. Where are you? How do you get there? You know, kind of the nitty gritty of the detail. Yeah, and we got here, unloaded. Jobs are good in. So, how do I rate AnyVan? The booking process was straightforward. There was peace of mind there, knowing that you've got tracking. I mean, this is a pretty valuable possession. This, so having the tracking there is good. Whereas some other services, you know, if you'd booked and it was just like a random person who had quoted for this, you don't know, you don't know when people are quoting and fighting off other people for the same job. There'll be a tendency to try and undercut there. So you don't really know. At least with AnyVan, the price is the price, and there's a certain level of service I would expect is required of their contractors / employees. So my expectations of AnyVan, well, they got my Defender from A to B without it getting damaged. They arrived on time. They gave us a tracking link which worked. So they kind of met my minimum expectations there of what I would expect of a transport company. So that was really good. So how do you then go above and beyond? I guess what they did do, the driver was clearly professional. It was his chosen kind of profession, line of work. He knew what he was doing. He was efficient and he was friendly, and that kind of helped. It added an extra layer on top, which it didn't need to be there. So I guess that was the extra bit that made it, you know, on the whole, a pleasant experience. Everything ran smoothly, went well. So yeah, take my experience as you take it. But there we go. So maybe this has been useful for you if you're thinking about, you know, Shipley or AnyVan. If you want to transport a vehicle in the UK or even overseas, I think they do it overseas as well. You have to call for that. And also, if you want you can get covered transport if you've got a really, really expensive car. You don't want bugs on the paintwork, stuff like that. You can get covered transport, but you need to call them for that. I think that's part of it. You can't do it on the website. Anyway, I've now opened up a huge can of worms because I've got no excuses now for getting on and working with the Defender, but I really want to get it on the road this summer. No promises. I'm going to be away as well, so fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you've used AnyVan or Shipley, or if you have any questions about using this service, if you're thinking about doing so. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.